The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie.
So if you got a popsicle stick or a spoon or something to bite down on, you better grab it, because you're going to need it to bite down on for this one. Let's light them up. What's up, y'all? It's your boy DMG. I appreciate you guys plugging into another deprogram where we deprogram the mind while lighting every man with the truth. That's this guy behind me right here. He is lit. Why? Because he's so letting his light shine to the world because of what Jesus Christ has done for all of us, right? All of us who has accepted his work, his great passion of work for each of us. So when you guys see this guy behind me and he's lit like that, that's what the whole thing is. When I say let's light him up, I'm talking about Jesus Christ when he says he is the Lord that lighteth every man that comes into the world. So we're deprogramming our minds and then we're lighting every man with the truth. You guys, please like, subscribe, comment, and also share this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It pushes it out there to the Utopia Tube algorithm so that we can grow this channel together. So let me ask you guys a question. If somebody told you to fight God, would you fight him? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Because there's going to come a time, y'all, where the world is going to try and fight God. This video is going to kind of lay out the scenario of how that could happen. Okay, so when you hear this video, granted, it's going to be some of my conjecturing here, some opinion, some figuring out, but that's what it takes, you guys. It takes the natural and it also takes the spiritual to figure out where we are in this time of deception, what could possibly take place in the future. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But before we do that, I want you guys to check out a couple of scriptures because I want you to keep your mind open. I want you to pray. I want you to keep your mind open and see if what I'm telling you sounds plausible and also possible. Check this out. So Proverbs 25:2, it says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search out a matter." So it's okay to search out things or to search out a matter. What is matter? Think about it. Matter is something tangible. So sometimes it is necessary to search out the things in the natural or the tangible in order to find out what it is that we need to know the entire truth of something. And check this one out. Proverbs 18:13. It says, "He that answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame unto him." So sometimes you need to keep your mouth quiet in order to be able to hear something long enough to see if it actually is so or if it has plausibility. So I'm going to light this up with the first video of Ronald Reagan back in the 80s, where I believe personally he was laying this thing out, this whole scenario, so that we could come to a place of where we are right now. So let me get over here and share with you guys how this comes together. Check it out.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
Now, think about what he said. Wouldn't we all come together to fight that particular threat? So I want y'all to keep in mind that Reagan, he made these statements back in 85, 87, and 88. I don't know if it was one in each year or not, but I know it was 85, 87, and 88 when I did my research. What I'm thinking is, what would make him say that? What would make him say that, something that could bring us together if an alien force appeared here and we had to fight that? What would make him say that? I mean, I know we didn't have as many movies back then. Well, maybe we did. I don't know what type of movies was going on as far as space is concerned, because I know, recently we've had a lot of movies about space, y'all. We've had Independence Day. We've had, Gravity. All of the Marvel movies, they have a lot to do with space. So I don't know what would make him say that, but he said it. And it seems to me that he was laying down the groundwork. It seems to me that he was laying down the groundwork for something that we're coming up on in 2025. So y'all check this out. This is 2025.
Aero and the Pentagon have broken the law by not revealing a significant body of information about UAPs, including military intelligence databases that have evidence of their existence as physical craft.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing, and there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries.
And since my reporting on this Immaculate Constellation last month, another source came forward who told me that they saw a roughly 13-minute-long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait.
So I don't know if you guys are tracking the same way that I might be, right? But it seems to me that they have been moving us forward towards what Reagan was talking about back in the 80s, right? We are closer than ever to that scenario that he was speaking about. So now that we know about the things that the government, on the government side of things, but they've also been programming us on the entertainment side of things. Like I was talking about these movies, man, all the movies about space, specifically where we have spacecraft entering into our atmosphere, right? These things are unearthly. They're coming from somewhere out there, outside to inside here. This is what they've been programming us with heavily in the past few years, not too long ago, right? Gravity and all of these different movies. And I mean, the CGI is amazing. Now, one of the biggest ones was Independence Day, where the main plot was about a mothership. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all.
That is definitely bigger than the last one.
This just came in from one of our lunar satellites. Ship's more than 3,000 miles in diameter.
How the hell did we miss this? Activate all our defense systems and shut down the celebration.
So as y'all can see, UFOs, UAPs is something they came up with recently, probably in 2025 or late 2024. I don't know, maybe earlier than that, but we all know about UFOs. But UFOs, UAPs in government and also in entertainment like Hollywood, I mean, these things have been deeply ingrained into our psyche. But I like to ask a question a little bit further, right? What is the reason? Other than money, we know money is a reason because they can make a lot of money off of this stuff. I mean, I go see the freaking movies myself, right? But what is the reason? I believe it goes back to the heart of the matter, right? I mean, the heart of this video, which is deception, right? Deception to bring the world together for a grand finale, right? Or end game. This is all conjecture, y'all. I get it, right? And I'm not saying that this is the absolute truth. All I'm saying is that sometimes we have to search out things. We have to look at things. I explained this to you before, but I'm going to transition over now to the spiritual side, and I'm going to bring in the scripture to back up what I'm believing or what I'm getting at for this video, so you guys can kind of check it out for yourself. Of course, do your own research. You got to do that. Don't just trust what I'm saying. Right? This is the deprogram. That means you've been deprogrammed, or you're being deprogrammed from what they show you on TV, what they show you at the movies, so that you can do your own research. So where am I going with this? I'm going to take you guys over to Galatians. In fact, let me get this. Galatians chapter 4, verse 26, right? It says here, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Now think about that. I'm going to read it again. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Now, think about this. These people talk about motherships, right? These movies, most of them talk about motherships. I've even heard people just out here, just friends or people that are at work, they've talked about motherships and things like that. But right here, it talks about Jerusalem being the mother of us all. Now, I'm going to get over here to another scripture that's going to bring that even closer in. So this is Revelation chapter 21, verse 2. And it says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. Are y'all putting this together? Are y'all tracking? It says here again, it says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. And Jerusalem is the mother of us all. So it sounds to me, the enemy knows scripture, y'all. He knows scripture just like you and I, better than us, probably, right? But he knows the scripture, and he always perverts things. God calls New Jerusalem the mother of us all, but he calls spaceships, alien ships, whatever you want to call it, he called that the mothership. And see, those things come from so-called outer space, but New Jerusalem comes from heaven, and it comes down, right? So I hope you guys are tracking. I know you're tracking now. I know you guys are tracking now. And you see the parallel of mothership versus New Jerusalem, which is the mother of us all. Can you see the parallel of mothership being a UFO coming from outer space, so-called outer space, and New Jerusalem coming from heaven, right? So I'm thinking it would be possible for this grand finale, this final battle, right? For all of mankind to have come together, like Reagan was talking about, have come together because there was some alien threat that would threaten all of humanity. And everybody would go to war with God to fight God. That's why I ask y'all that question. Crazy scenario, right? But it's not, because you got to figure these things out. Are they trying to take us somewhere? Is this the end game, right? Check out this. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 7 through 9. Let me get over here. Revelation chapter 20, verse 7. Check this out, y'all. It says, "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea." The sand of the sea? That's a lot of people, y'all. It sounds to me that this great deception, when Satan goes out to deceive the nations from the four corners of the earth, it sounds to me that he's going to make everybody think that they're battling the mothership when it's actually Jerusalem, the mother of us all. At least us all that believe, Jesus is God, Jesus is King, and he's come down with Jerusalem, as the new city, as the beloved city. But it seems to me that this deception is going to be far and wide, grand, right? Final end game type thing. Looks like some Lord of the Ring, what I'm saying, when those armies came together. And he's going to compass, that means to surround the saints and the city. Now, here's what I think, because when you read the whole text, you can tell that the city is not on the ground yet. It's probably up in the heavens. It's probably like, it's going to be like an announcement. What is this thing? Whatever. It's going to be up in the heavens, and everybody's going to be ready to battle. Because in that same scripture, if you read down a little bit further, it talks about God destroying all of the people that came up against his city, right? Came up against the New Jerusalem, and it was all over. And then it says, you saw the city descending. So I'm thinking it'll probably be up in the sky, in the heavens, coming down, and everybody can see it. And I want you guys to know something too, because if you read further down, you'll see that this city is 1,500 miles deep. I mean, it's a square, and it's 1,500 miles all the way around each side of that square, and also 1,500 miles tall. So that definitely, if you look at like the clip that I showed, it's definitely looking like a mothership, like one of these ships that's really wide, like that guy was talking about earlier when I showed that clip. This thing is 3,000 miles wide. You follow what I'm saying? So anyway, you guys, keep that in mind, right? Just keep that in mind. So that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you guys plugging into another D program. Don't be picking fights with your own people. Anyway, I'm glad you guys stopped through. I love each and every one of you from the top of my heart all the way to the bottom. Until the next time, I'll see you guys on the next one. This is DMG. I'm out. Peace.